Hello everybody and welcome back to another Silmarillion multiplayer battle replay from Raven Shadow. Today, I believe once again I was fighting Pantan of Barsum, this time as the House of Fingolfin, and he had, I think, the faction that I fought Rex with. You know, Morgoth and stuff, and he's setting up all these stakes over here. I've got these two buildings. I'm gonna try to do kind of a setup, a little bit like what I did with Fëanor last time. Doesn't work much better. I did have these horse archers here. This fight was close and... no, it was not close. It was interesting. I began by... you know, skirmishing, as one does. And of course, I brought a bunch of artillery. Killed one of his Balrogs right out the gate. And another one also right out the gate. I told basically everything to aim for them. And some of them were better at doing it than others. So some of these shots were really good, some weren't. Where's my cavalry are over here, running through the woods. He's got a whole bunch of people coming in. You might be able to tell this was my first foray with this faction.
Only intervention by the Almighty Lord or a military genius can bring us victory from this debacle.
In a second or two here. Almost. Some interesting stuff is going on with the cavalry back here, but not a whole lot. Come on, where is it? I got the other Balrog. When does that happen? All these near misses. So close. Got him! There we go. Okay. Yeah, that's like basically the last really cool thing I was able to do. Except I brought the cavalry all the way around without running them onto the stakes. That's not hard. The stakes aren't moving. And from here, it's all downhill for me. Yes, the realm of Angband. That's the one. As usual, he's got his spears screening, keeping my cavalry from getting at his committed infantry. Do we still have any? No, I think we've used all our ammunition by this point. And most of our artillery crews are caught in melee, but this one over here was able to keep firing for quite a while afterward. I brought the cavalry all the way around back again, always just looking for an opening. I believe I was gonna send them into this clump over here. Which, of course, he noticed because he's not AI, and was able to address. We did get some decent charges, some decent kills in there, but I put myself in a corner and there's not a lot of room for maneuvering. Honestly, I'm not convinced that Angband shouldn't be a really powerful faction. Like it, I don't think it's overpowered. Certainly it has its strengths and weaknesses. I think this was entirely fair. I tried to be silly with my... Well, no, not silly. I just wanted to use a bunch of artillery. You know, Napoleon type stuff. Where'd they go? Where'd they go? There they are, other side. Yeah, I had them going all over the place. Sorry about that. But yeah,
Lord be merciful, we have lost half of our men.
this can only go so many ways. There's not really any turning it around from here. I don't know that my army comp ever had a very good chance. I did finally get my cavalry through his screen. Not that it did me a whole lot of good. And into the back. And out again. But walking for some reason. This was, I'd like to say it wasn't my best work, but honestly, my best work is not very good. It's just slog, slog, slog. And he did say that he was pissed that I managed to take out his Balrogs early. That was quite pleasant for me. I needed some consolation.
Our brash general, his defeat is a bitter drink to swallow. Next time it will be our foe that sups from this foul cup.
Honestly, it's a bit odd to me that my general lasted as long as he did. I only managed to take out 35% of that army. Artillery is very good, very useful, but spamming it, like, I have been learning that it's not very wise in this mod. Of course, this is really the first actual multiplayer experience I've had with Medieval 2. I did play some Rome 1 back in the day. Basically just 4 or 5 battles against the same guy. But yeah, I don't think we needed any more evidence that I suck. We do get more later on, though. Now, this, I think, is a really cool battle between two of the noobiest multiplayer testers that they've got. I'm playing as the Avari again, and once again, my opponent is Magalherin playing as the Feanorians. But this time, we're in the mountain pass, the Dwarf Road, maybe it's called? The one with the yikesy freaky precipices all over the place, which are visually fascinating. Originally, I was planning to hold this pass, which I just came to the conclusion it felt way too line campy, and also it didn't have anywhere near enough reason for Mag to attack it. Like there wasn't going to be anything interesting going on. So I decided to abandon that idea. And instead, I set up over here, which is much more interesting terrain. Not to say much more defensible, but much more interesting. I set up my shield walls on either side. My rangers in the middle, because of course I was using rangers. I love those things with their stupidly high javelin attacks and armor piercing and what have you. Stakes at both ends, obviously. And then there's a third way to get in over here. And that's where I put my pikes. Mag, he did bring a fair bit of cavalry. And we just kind of sat here for a few seconds studying each other's armies, like, how's this gonna go? Who's gonna have what? He had a lot of good stuff. I sent these Thorncasters of Taurin Dwinath up here to do a little skirmishing, see if I could get him to come forward. He's got his archers working on it. So I sent them back over here. If nothing else, this was a great place to put my archers, because he's trying to get around the back, and when he does that, he's exposing his soldiers to my ranged troops. So the cavalry, he just has them poised over here, because he's not going to send them into the stakes. They are useful to suppress skirmishing from me, because if he's got them handy, I can't really send my people out to do much. Of course I did anyway. Here's the first refusers. They've got their war crime slings. And that did create a gnarly bit of cloud for Mag's troops to run through. And he decided not to use his cavalry on us because, like, we're right by the stakes. Okay, and the tree girls are throwing their stuff, and the first refusers are throwing their stuff. Started out pretty well for me. Other than this. There isn't really a good way for him to get in here to attack me. And he knows it. Meanwhile, I can skirmish on him, basically to my heart's content.
We're being attacked!
The Stalkers of Silmarillion do have crazy range for a javelin. But, like, I didn't particularly care about the tree girls that much. They served their purpose quite well. And I didn't ask a lot more of them. And now because he's getting close, I pulled my archers back in. The ground here, the topography, offered us a lot of cover, just as it offered some to him earlier. In this area here, like, it's a double bottleneck, technically triple, but mostly double. And quite wisely, he had his javelin cavalry throw their javelins without getting close. Very smart, especially at a shield wall. In reality, a shield wall would offer a fair bit of defense against javelins. But in Total War, unfortunately, it doesn't. Of course, a shield would probably be easier for a javelin to get through than chainmail or, like, splint or what have you. This is quite good positioning for his archers. If you're fighting on this map, that's one thing to keep in mind. At this point, he's killed 28% of us, and we've killed 18% of them. But that's just, like, we're only just now entering the mid-phase of the battle. Our pikes have an excellent hill position here against his infantry. Our shield walls are just now engaging on this front. 35 to 25. Catching up, slowly. Like, he fully acknowledged that this was a good position to hold. But he didn't seem to want to just skirmish me down. He made the conscious choice to just go for it. Presumably because of rule of cool, rather than any actual tactical advantage. All this infantry is still doing very well. Like, there's tons of more interesting things that one could have done in my position. I'm not saying that I played optimally. Absolutely not. Oh, this hill is blocking so many javelins. Is that it? Just I don't even know what to say about that. It's just, it's good to have a hill. It's good to have cover. Topography. It makes a difference, especially against other noobs. 45-36. Eventually here, he does start making some pretty serious mistakes. Oh, and the Rangers? The Rangers absolutely refused to throw their fucking javelins. It was embarrassing and infuriating. They were just like, "Nah, man, that's too close to our guys." I don't know why the Rangers are Jordan Peterson now, but there you have it. Okay. Cavalry doing pretty good work.
My lord, only half our force remains.
Yeah, 51-43. Not awesome, but we are catching him.
By the saints, our men have slain the enemy general. Without him, his troops will lose their will to fight.
I forget whether he had his general with the cavalry or whether it was... Well, anyway, he lost his general, and now we're just 4 apart. And in a little bit here, he makes an even bigger mistake. Okay, some of his shield bearers are routing.
The enemy are badly blooded. They have lost half...
Now we're actually leading him. This was tight. This was freaky. 'Cause he carved his way quite far into my front line. The back did great. We did perfectly fine over here. But in the front, I was scared. Oh, did I miss it? Did I miss it? These guys died on the stakes. Okay. No. He got those. That he kept managing to get them as safely as he did past these stakes is pretty good on his part. That's tight maneuvering. But once again, we have topography and fresh troops and all kinds of stuff on our side. The pikes, of course, holding the flank very admirably. I must have missed even more. He lost a lot of cavalry on these stakes. A lot. And it was around this point that his computer just decided to shut off. Which apparently it does. Not infrequently. But by then, you can pretty well infer how it's probably going to go. We broke him on this flank, and we're chasing them around in the back. And that means that I can send my pikes against his cavalry up here. So if he had been able to keep fighting, it probably would not have gone great for him. The Rangers were doing kind of okay without the pikes' help. But then, if the pikes had really been able to do their thing, it still probably would have been pretty close. I've lost 69%, 70% now. But he was not gonna win this, probably. Almost certainly.
Our men are winning the battle. If we continue like this, we will smash the enemy.
Yeah, we probably would have if we'd been able to continue like this. Which we weren't. That was very good on his part. Very good. But it was too late. By this time, it's like he seems to think it was closer than it is. I don't think so much of what I have left is spears and pikes, and so much of what he has left is cavalry. Good cavalry, but just cavalry. He has paper and I have scissors. So even though it was kind of a derpy setup, and it did get interrupted in an untimely manner, this is still one of my favorite replays. One of my favorite battles that I've had so far online with these guys. It was certainly one of the most fun, and it was very closely and hotly contested. Even now, with it not fully decided, I'm only 6% in the lead. It was a good fight. A good memory. Ah, yes. This one. This was... Well, I called it rough but satisfying, so that'll give you a little bit of a hint. I was playing as the hidden city of Gondolin, and we've got some cool stuff. Phalanx of the King, a bunch of these Scouts of the Tree, who apparently have slings, although I didn't realize that when I selected them. We've got all this artillery. We have 2 catapults, 2 scorpions. And Pantan is playing as the House of Bor, which is Easterlings. I believe in the first age, the phrase Easterlings referred to kind of Celtic-related sorts of people, such like kind of related to the Dun men of the Third Age. But at any rate, they were not the Easterlings of the Third Age. Catapults, so much range. It's obscene how much range they have. Where's my cav? Did I? Nope. They're all the way over here. Knights of the Golden Flower. Very fine horsemen. Horse elves. He's got some of his own, but these Salamandrine Guard are horse archers. House of Bor is kind of a little bit overpowered. Well, no, not really. I don't know, man. It is what it is. I've beaten it and I've lost to it, and when I beat it, it was close, and when I lost to it, I got smashed. Fire arrows because Hollywood. Slings because history. Where are you? Okay, here. Sending my horses forward. And because Pantan knows how to, He is screening, as always, like we saw in that other battle just a little bit ago here. Fine skirmishing going on. Although, again, the slings don't have as much range as I feel they probably ought to. I'm still not pretending to be good at this. But he is trying to skirmish a very range-heavy army. I believe... Let's see, you're... Yeah, we already used all the catapult ammunition. And the cav are sitting in the trees over here. Didn't seem at this point like there was a lot I could do with them. Pretty lucky on my part. Because again, Ponton knows what he's doing. I got so tired of losing my cavalry to basically just my own incompetence. I kept trying to pull them out of range of whatever he had going on. Now he has finally sent some spearmen forward. I think this is where he goes for a general attack. Finally, skirmish phase over. And we're still skirmishing as they come. I probably should have put the slingers in loose formation as well. But we are committing to a general melee now. He does still have plenty of troops in reserve, which is going to keep my cavalry from being able to properly flank him. This battle was a lot of work. I'm not sure why I had these guys just sitting here. Probably because I was concentrated on the left flank. Trying to get my spearmen onto his cavalry, which honestly, I'm astonished that I did. I guess he must have been watching my cav. And yet I still managed to get them into these Wanderers of Thargelion. And then Cav versus Cav. 23% versus 33%. He's catching up to us, mind you, not the other way around. And yes, my own stakes do in fact make it difficult to do the hammer and anvil, the Alexander tactic, the grab and smash, if you will. It's fine for infantry if his javelins will leave us alone, which they don't. Yeah, this was gnarly. 36 to 46. It was yikesy all around. The whole thing. Ah, yes, this part. Just keep running away, running away, running away. And then run into my own troops' backs.
Only half the enemy force remains.
And he's like, no. Pulled them through. Yeah. Yeah. Well, it's a very circuitous route to get them behind these guys over here. For a fat lot of good it did me. Fine charge, yes, but from just 4 guys? Come on. The infantry is holding up pretty well, but the House of Boar has a lot of, like, halberds, I guess? They're a pain. They're an absolute pain to deal with. We are starting to wrap them up a little bit. But this will not end before I have lost all my cavalry and most of my infantry. We have 51 to 68. We're pulling ahead. We are very much pulling ahead now.
Lord be merciful, we have lost half of our men.
Yeah. Yeah, we've lost half so far, but he's lost almost 3/4.
Our foolish general has thrown his life away, and perhaps our chances of victory with it.
Yeah, that happened. And so did this. This area here, it never got to be not a slog. But because we have done so well so far, we're able to pull flanking maneuvers with our infantry. Over here, let's see. What do we got? Yeah. Like, he's still going, he's still being competent, but it's not really making the difference that he needs it to. We're still flanking his people, getting around him, whittling them down.
The battle is very much in our favor. If we remain true and steadfast, victory will be ours.
Yes. Yes, it will be. That might have been the only horse to die on the stakes. Honestly, the overhand spear grip is so cool to me. His shield bearers of the tower, that's a really cool unit. I don't even really care what their stats look like. They're good. They're cool. They look amazing.
This is a clear victory that goes to only men of great virtue and valor.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that would imply that I had virtue and valor, or that my army was composed of men. The truth is, they were elves, and they did the heavy lifting, not me. And I kind of got lucky on army comp, because skirmish heavy turned out to be exactly what this situation needed, but I also had really good infantry, and I did get some good use out of my cavalry. Not as much as an actually competent general like Ponthan would have been able to, but Ponthan only brought a little bit of cavalry. He actually got a lot more good use out of his worse cavalry, I think, than I got out of my better cav. So yeah, this was also a really cool battle, a very fond memory of mine, and I think the last time I won an engagement. Since then, I've had my ass stomped a few times, as you will see.